106.3 FM, The Source.
All right, 5 minutes after 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. It's kind of a bittersweet topic when you are thinking about Barbara Bush just passed away, and it was just yesterday or 2 days ago when there was a news item that she had decided not to have any more medical procedures, and you knew what that meant. You knew that she was in her own mind thinking, okay, I've lived my life. She was 92, and not that you can't live to 102 or 112 or whatever, but it's just, you know that. I know it from my own mom and dad that when it got to be that time, I know that they knew, and it was one of those things that you just had to have a discussion about. Dr. Tania Miedico, I think I'm saying her name right, I hope, is the National Medical Director at Optum Care. She's giving us some information about the Conversation Project, Advanced Planning for End-of-Life Care. Dr. Tania Miedico, oh my God.
Miedico.
Oh, just Miedico? Okay, I'm sorry. Dr. Tania, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Thank you for having me today.
Where are you? Where are you calling from?
I am calling from San Diego.
Okay, well, thank you for getting up early to be with us. I apologize for messing up your name. Can you correct my pronunciation?
Miedico.
Miedico, just like a medical person. Well, that's kind of appropriate for you.
Correct.
There's a delay, by the way, between the time we hear each other, it sounds like. So if I speak over you, I apologize in advance. Tell me about the conversation.
So it's National Healthcare Decisions Week, and it's a time to educate, empower people of all ages about the importance of advanced care planning. And 90% of people think that it's an important conversation to have, but only 30% of us are actually having the conversation.
Yeah, I imagine that's probably true. So, you know what's kind of hard to imagine? See, I should have this conversation with my son. I'm 63, but I don't feel like I'm close to dying. But I could be. You never know. I could walk out the door today and boom, I could be dropped dead, right?
An emergency can happen at any time, and that's why it's super important to get started. And it doesn't have to be complicated. You want to choose an advocate. You want to talk to your advocate. You want to document your wishes, and then share that document with your family, your doctor, and your advocate.
So is there, I hate to say cookie cutter, because I don't mean to demean the process, but I mean, a lot of times we might not know what to ask or what to say. Is there like maybe template is a better word. Is there a template that we can use that'll help guide us?
In our website, we do have a worksheet that walks you through having the conversation and going ahead and documenting your wishes.
And what kind of things does it clarify?
So one of the things it talks you through how to choose an advocate, the qualities that you want the advocate to have, like making sure it's somebody who knows you well, somebody who's calm in a crisis, someone who understands what you would want, and also the things you should talk about. So things like what's important to you as a person, what should they know about the things that you want, when should they feel comfortable about stopping treatment and focusing on comfort. So very important to have these conversations, and also understanding that it doesn't have to be complicated.
And sometimes you might have to have two, because like Florida is a retirement state. People move down here and then they're all alone because their siblings or their children live in other states. And then if something happens, the family can't get to them right away, so you need somebody right here, right now.
Correct, and there's nothing more distressing than having a family member out of state get a call in the middle of the night asking them to make decisions. So if those around you are aware of your decisions, if you have that document where you share it, not only with your family, but your friends and your healthcare team, then if an unforeseen situation happens, it is much, much easier to make sure that we are fulfilling the wishes you would want for your care.
The story of Barbara Bush today is a perfect example of this. And they must have had a conversation, but we, as the general public, we heard about her decision to end any health care and just let nature take its course.
Yeah, my condolences go out to the Bush family. And I'm not familiar, obviously, with the details, but what I can tell you is that it is important to have a plan to ensure you receive the care that you would want, and that the plan is shared with your loved ones.
Since you have cared for patients from children to the more mature, that is a very hard thing for a parent also, that when a child is born, you need to make some kind of decisions, like when you buy them their health insurance and things like that.
Correct. Across all the age spectrum, we do have to talk about this sometimes awkward and uncomfortable topic, but it's better to be prepared so that those conversations with medical teams goes much smoother.
Does anything in writing need to be what's it called?
Notarized?
Notarized. Thank you, Robin. Do we need legal parts to this, or could just an agreed upon document be good enough?
So some legal documents do include the wishes, but the most important part with healthcare physician is that you should write it down. It does not have to be a legal document that's signed or notarized. On our website, we have a great worksheet that helps you get the conversation started and also getting it in writing. And we also have information that's state-specific.
Is a living will a legal document?
In some instances, it can be, yes.
Yeah, I remember when after my mom passed, she had a will. And one of the things in the will that was interesting was that it said any written notes that she decided to put in there after the fact would be honored with the same integrity as the will itself. And sure enough, there was one or two written notes that she stuck in there. And I wondered, why couldn't the whole thing have been that way? I mean, why did she have to go to an attorney at all if legally we're bound to honor that will, even if it's a handwritten note?
So that's why we are very passionate about sharing this message during National Healthcare Decisions Week to kind of dispel some of this misunderstanding about the documents that are necessary or how to get your wishes down in writing.
Right.
Well, sometimes you have partners that are not married, and sometimes when the person goes to the hospital, if you don't have that marriage certificate, even the medical people won't let you in to see that partner. How do you get around that?
So those are exactly the type of situations that talking about this topic early avoids. So that's the choosing an advocate. And the most important message there is that an advocate does not have to be a spouse. It doesn't have to be a family member. It can be anyone that you wish.
Let's make sure we give out the website that people can get more information. Dr. Tania Miedico, give us, if you have any websites or phone numbers or anything that might be able to be used as a resource.
So our website is www.optumcare.com/NHDD.
As in National Health Care Decision something.
Health Care Decision.
Okay.
Yes.
Doctor, thank you for being on the air with us today.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. We'll be right back.
Howdy, folks. RL here for Dairy Queen again to tell you about what's hot and what's not. Dairy Queen has some